everybody, welcome back to the Jack Chapple Show. I'm Jack Chapple, and this is going to be a laid-back kind of podcast, Q&A video. I used to do these just for podcasts back when I used to make science videos, but I just thought I'd do it for this channel, because why not? These are a lot of fun for me. And I get emails almost every day with questions from you guys relating to business and financial advice and stuff. And I rarely get any on Twitter and Facebook, so just if you have a question, tweet it at Jack Chapple SCI. I'll leave a link in the description for that, or you can just go to Facebook. I'll leave a link in the description for that too. It's /Chapple REI, Real Estate and Investments REI. That's what that stands for. And send me your questions on there, because I get flooded. I get like 50 to 100 emails a day, period, for just business inquiries and from offers and marketing and blah, 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 all that stuff. And so a lot of the times when you guys send me emails, I try to respond with like at least a paragraph. But a lot of the times I just can't. I miss it, whatever reason. So I'm sorry if I can't get back to you, but send those questions to me. Facebook, tweet at me, Jack Chapple Sci, and I can try to get back to you. So I just have, honestly, 2 questions here that I wanted to cover, one of which was just a tweet, because it was the one person who tweeted me in the past 2 weeks, and 2 was an email, which I wrote back like, I don't know, 7 paragraphs to, at least, and that's what I'm mainly going to be talking about. But the tweet question was, it was from Abhil Ash. I believe that's what it is. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that right. But anyways, what he says is, hey, can you please make a video on the Indian stock market and some tips? Looking forward to it. Love to hear from you. Then some old dead body. That also made me laugh. If you can make me laugh with a tweet, you will probably get on one of the videos. So what do I know about the Indian stock market? To be honest, not too much. I know that it's kind of going through a rough period right now, which is a good time to buy. Usually when everyone thinks the stock market's bad, that's when you should start buying. Now, I don't know how bad it is. I don't know if the stocks are plummeting. I don't think that they are. I just think that the rate of returns are bad. So maybe don't invest this very second. Maybe. That would be my advice. But saying that, I don't know enough, so don't trust my opinion on the Indian stock market. But yeah, generally speaking, when the public and everyone thinks that the stock market is bad, that's a good time to invest. So you're going to have to do your own research on that, on specific companies. I know that India has 2 stock market exchanges, don't they? They have like, it's like National Stock Exchange, NSE, I think, and then the Bombay Stock Exchange. But why didn't they change the name too? Because Bombay was a city in India, right? And then they renamed Bombay Mumbai, which a lot of people don't realize. Bombay is Mumbai now. So why didn't they rename the stock exchange? It wouldn't be too hard to just kind of flip that over, right? It's kind of that's a whole different story. Actually, I find it funny enough, right when I got that tweet, I saw this article on Reddit, and it was about the income inequality in India, which was it's kind of surprising how unequal that society is. And I'm a fan of being rich. I like to financially educate you guys, saying that there are certain countries where just so much inequality is so bad. I'll talk that over. So anyways, I have the whiteboard here, so I guess I should start writing this down. So I'll just say that, what are we going to talk about? The 1% in India. Okay, so the 1% in India. How much of the wealth of India does the top 1% have? Does anyone have any guess? First, actually, you know what? Let's go to the USA first. Does anyone know what the USA, how much wealth the 1% has? Sorry for my terrible writing and the wobbly board here. I have a stand here, and I'm gonna have a full studio in April, so this will hopefully change a little bit. How much does the 1% have in USA? Now I have the number here. It is not as high as a lot of people think. Still a lot, but it's about 42%. According to this one article. I've seen other articles where it can go up to like 50. So USA is a large economy. It's tough to say, right? How much do you think India is? I was kind of surprised. but not too surprised because India kind of has, they have a few very large companies. I know that they have some telecommunication companies that are quite big there. So yeah, the richest 1% own 58.4% of the wealth, according to this one article. It could be a lot lower, it could be a lot higher. I don't trust one article usually, but considering that I haven't heard any other information on the 1% of India, that's what I'm gonna go with for right now. 58.4% for the top 1% in India. Now, I'm gonna talk about a few other countries, then we'll move on to another topic here. But I'll just point out some countries which it's quite surprising. So Mexico. What do you think it is in Mexico? Oh, Jesus, I thought that is a C, and then we're gonna put a note right there. What do you think it is in Mexico? It's actually a lot lower. It's actually 38%. And now we're gonna talk about the last one, and then we'll move on. Russia. Why am I going to talk about Russia? Everyone knows about the oligarchs there, right? How a very few people own like half of Russia. You know how Putin runs everything and the government will just take people's property for no reason just because they're rich? And they can do that because that's what happens in Russia. They have a prime minister and a president. Did you guys know that? Or it's a prime minister and a president, right? And Putin is the president and the prime minister is some other guy that no one talks about. It's kind of funny. They have like a dual nation with that stuff. They're kind of like a dictatorship and a democracy at the same time, but everyone knew that. Anyways, what do you think that the 1%, how much wealth does 1% have in Russia? Keep in mind, I kind of knew this stat going in a little bit. It's about 75%. Voice crack. 1 out of every 100 people in Russia own 75% of everything. 75%! Oh my goodness. Russia is just a weird place, right? I want to talk about this email that I got from, I'm not going to say his last name, I'm not going to say what he emailed me too much, but it is a talking point for me, so that's what I'm going to talk about it. I got an email from a guy named Tom. And he asked me a few things kind of wrapped into one question, and I gave him a large and long response. And I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm going to share what I talked about. So what Tom kind of asked me was, if you are unemployed, if you don't have money, so you have no money, you're unemployed and you have no money, how can you still invest if you have no money? So how do you invest if you're unemployed and if you have no money? And there's a lot of ways that you can do this, in all honesty, but I'm guessing that Tom is a 20-something-year-old or is 30-something, early 30s. Maybe he's older, maybe he's younger, I don't know. But I kind of went through this not too long ago. Like last year, I started maybe last year or 2 years ago, I started I call it my waking up period where, okay, I'll go through my story here. So you're unemployed, you have no money, but you want to invest. How do you do that? So I'll tell you my story. I was in university, I think around third year of university. I was in honors health sciences. I was going to do the whole doctor thing, all that stuff. And I know that the first job that you get out of university, if you're in health sciences, if you're not, to pay for medical school or whatever, you're generally going to make about 40 grand a year, luckily. If you get an internship somewhere, it's going to be less. If you get like a research position, it could be 50 to 60, especially if it's in I'm in Canada, if it's in Thunder Bay to a place where no one wants to go to, it can be like 80 grand, but that's probably not going to happen. I probably wouldn't move to Thunder Bay at this very second, maybe in the future with global warming and climate change and all that stuff. So I was thinking like, okay, man, I'm probably gonna make 40 grand a year in my early 20s. I might have some debt, I might not, I don't know. I wanted to invest in real estate, not the stock market, in real estate, because I know that the stock market was starting to take a little bit of a downward trend in Canada here, right when the oil problem happened here, the oil fracking. So I started thinking, how else can I invest my money other than the stock market? Stock market has been doing pretty well lately. It might crash, it might not. Trump presidency might have something to do with that. I'll make a video. I'm going to make a video on that. Stay tuned. I'm going to probably do that today, actually. So, yeah, if I make 40 grand, how can I still invest in real estate? Like, I'm not going to have too much money. Maybe if I budget, I can get a cheap place and slowly, over the course of 10 years, maybe I can build it up. Or what if I want to invest in a property while I'm in school? How would I do that? So we're going to answer some questions here. So I'm going to compare this to the stock market and to real estate. So you have no money, you're unemployed, and let's just say I'm in school. I'll share my example with you. What can you do to invest in a property? There's a few things you can do. I'm going to tell you one which is I would recommend not doing it unless you have someone that you really trust, I guess. So you can I guess that these two are kind of tied in together. So you can kind of ask someone to sponsor you to I'm trying to think of a better word than sponsor you to take on a loan. But let's just say you can ask, if your mom and dad have good credit history, you can ask someone like them to get a loan in their name, not yours, and you pay them back instead of the bank. So loan under someone else's name. We'll just say mom. Under mom and dad. This could also be friends, it could be whatever. Try not to borrow money from anyone you really know. It's not usually a good idea. But, so anyways, you're pretty much going to debt this way, right? But you're going into debt with no money, it's very risky. You're pretty much paying back a loan with no job or no money in hopes that if it's real estate, okay, I'll give you the example here. You take out a $200,000 loan from mom and dad and they want you to pay them back, I don't know, $800 a month. So you rent the place out for $1,000 a month and there's $100 in extra expenses and hopefully you make $100 back and you pay back the loan every month. That's how that happens. So that's how you would invest, because you're not going to be able to get a loan if you're unemployed. You don't have any money. You don't have a job. So that's way number one of doing it. Number two, and I'll tell you my story here. So this is very key. If you have no money and no job and you want to invest in something, this is the second easiest way, I guess. So it might be the easiest way for some of you, it might not be. So we'll say that this is way number three, this is way number two. This is something that not a lot of people like to hear about. Investors. This is something I it's been introduced into my life, getting investors for real estate in the past 6 months or so. And how do you get investors if you don't know anyone that wants to invest with you? How do you get investors? How do you get investors for your company? First, you have to look professional. You have to be professional. You have to provide information. You have to provide a service that they don't want to do. So I'll give you an example here. I went up to a partner, I guess I should say, and called them and talked to them, and they said, okay, I am confident in you helping me invest in a $500,000 property. You can have some equity and we'll be a profit sharing company. So if we bring in $1,000 a month from that property, $500 a month, you'll get a couple hundred here, all right? And you'll get some equity in the place too. Why would he do it? Well, he pretty much said you have to do all the work, but you don't have to put up anything, any money. You just have to put in the work and the time. And if you're good at getting renters and finding a good place, then you're not going to really have to put in any work to invest in your first property. You're going to have equity in a property by just finding renters and getting one investor. And that's how it starts. That's how you get an investor. You have to look professional, make sure you have an office somewhere, a telephone, a website, and just call people, email people, say, hey, I'm starting up this investment company. I know a lot about the area. If you need to know anything, here's the number to call me at. Or something like that. Or here, check out my website, or I can provide this for less than your competitors would. Just do something like that. It's like cold calling. So finding investors is a big, now you can do that too for, you can't really, it's tough to explain for the stock market because you would need a lot of money to make money from investors. So getting investors for the stock market, you have to set up like an investment fund or a hedge fund or something like that. And you have to call people all day. It's like, remember the Wolf of Wall Street? He was doing an illegal version of that and he was ripping off customers. But you can very well open up your own investment fund. Nothing's really stopping you from doing that. And that's what you can do. If you get $1 million in your fund, you take a 1% fee, plus you can take a certain percentage of the profits you make. $1 million could make you 20, 30 grand a year. If you get $10 million, then it obviously multiplies by 10. And that's how it works. Hedge fund managers can make $1 billion. Massive hedge fund managers. And they don't spend, well, I guess hedge fund managers actually are forced to legally reinvest their money. But yeah, if you're an investment fund, you don't have to invest any of your own money if you don't want to, right? As long as you make your clients happy and you're not doing anything illegal and you have their best interest in mind, then that's how you can invest in the stock market with no money. You invest other people's money and hopefully you do well with it. So now the number one way to invest in a property or in the stock market or whatever have you, and you have no money and you're unemployed, this is something that no one likes to hear. And I really wish that someone would have told me this 3-4 years ago. The number one way to do it is you gotta make some money. Now that's gonna sound bad, but you have to make some more money. Make some money. So we kind of went over how if you're unemployed and you don't have any, no one's going to give you a loan, right? A bank's not going to give you a loan. You're unemployed, you have no money. Why? You have no credit history. Your FICO score is 0. Your credit score is 0. So what's the way to kind of avoid that is you got to make more money. If you were here's an example. Me, I was a student. I had a passive income. I don't know how much it was, like 10 grand, 20 grand a year while in school. I was just making YouTube videos and marketing and doing some freelance stuff on the side and stuff like that. And I also had a full-time job too, which I was getting paid a lot more earlier, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, going to school full-time while having a nice passive income, that's kind of sweet. So, where was I going with this? This is kind of, I'm not used to recording a podcast and a video at the same time. This is kind of weird. I'm usually sitting down with this microphone here. See this? See this microphone? That's what I'm usually recording with, a blue snowball. But now I have this, and this, and this, and I got to look at the camera and look very pretty. But yeah, in university, oh yeah, that's right, got to make some money. So if I were to go up to a bank while I was in university and I was making a little bit of money, I still wouldn't be able to get a loan. There's no chance. So, and you have to have 2 years of making like 30 grand or more to apply for a good mortgage loan. That's the rule in Canada. I don't know what it is in the United States. Plus you have to have a 20% down payment now for any property, which kind of sucks for young people because they were doing that to try to slow down the housing market here, but it's only really going to affect young people. It's not going to affect the rich people that are and the foreign investors that are buying up and increasing the real estate prices here. They're kind of that's a whole nother story. I should make another video on that. So I have to wait 2 years to get a loan. And then I kind of thought like 6 months ago to a year ago, 2 years ago, if I were to make 200 grand this year, then what bank is going to turn down me for a loan? That's something to think about. Increasing your income is the easiest way to get a loan and to get more ahead, to take out debt and to get further and further ahead. Debt's kind of a king for investing, as long as you invest it in a smart way. So that's, honestly, make more money. How do you do that? You can do freelance stuff online, take 2 jobs if you want to get ahead. Eventually, it's gonna pay off if you work 12, 16 hours a day. In 10 years, your friends are gonna be working 8 hours and living paycheck to paycheck. And you're gonna be laughing your ass off. You're gonna be able to take time off. You're still gonna be working hard when you're 30. Maybe when you're 40, you can start to think about retiring. Or just becoming a full-time investor. So make more money. That, I know it sounds terrible, but I wish that's something that someone told me. The easiest way to invest in something and to make a good investment and to get a loan and to get a mortgage, it's to make more money. That's what you got to do. So that's why I'm a real estate agent now. That's how I make money now. That's my thing. And that's my main source of, I also have some YouTube money coming in too, and I do marketing, and I have a full-time job, and I have like a bunch of different income sources, and it all kind of adds up, and I'm doing pretty well for someone my age, I would say. So I think that that's going to wrap this up. This was a very laid back and kind of scatterbrained video. They will get better in time as the more I practice with this stuff, but I just like to say thank you very much for listening to me ramble. Send in your questions again, send me your emails, send me your tweets. Remember, Jack, Jack, CHAPPLESCI. That is my Twitter account. Send me a tweet with your question and I will put it in a video. That's what I'll do. Or do it on Facebook, CHAPPLEREI. That's it on Facebook. Or you can send me an email, but it's probably going to get lost. jack@CHAPPLEREI.com. So anyways, I guess that kind of wraps up the Q&A here. And I have a bunch more videos coming out, I think. I don't know what order I'm going to release them in. This is probably going to be the second video I pump out of a series of like 9, I guess, maybe. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people. And I'll see you guys next time.